Hey. All right, what's up, Facebook? What's up, Instagram? It is another Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. So, excited to be with you as always. Welcome. My name is Onjeinikab. I'm also known as the unmothered coach. And so, if you're new here, let me grab this little book. I'm the author of this book. The book is called Unmothered, A Daughter's Guide to Acceptance, Healing, and Renewal. And so I wrote the book for women like myself who had difficult relationships with their mothers when they were growing up. And so sometimes when you have those difficult relationships, things get lost in the middle until you don't get what you need, meaning like a loving foundation from your mother. You don't have that bond with her. She doesn't know how to show you the support and give you the things that you need. And so it can show up later in life. And so that's why I wrote the book. And I actually lost my mother to breast cancer, which made the whole thing of not having a good bond, it made it a lot harder to heal from. And so that's when I was really able to pull out the 9 steps to healing, and they are in this book. So I'm very excited to be with you. Again, I help women that had difficult or broken relationships with their mothers, help them heal by overcoming the mama drama and elevating their self-confidence, their self-worth, and achieving their goals. And so that is who I am. That's what I do. And today I want to talk about you. So I wanted to talk about what would happen if you chose yourself. And so this is in line with the fourth part in the book, the renewal part. And so this has to do with self. And so I said this year that I wanted to focus more on not just the external relationships and what that looks like when it comes to healing, but I really want to tune in to what it takes for us to move where we want to be. And so that's where I'm coming from today. And so I want to know what would happen if you chose yourself. And so, when we're trying to heal and get what we want out of life, sometimes we forget that a lot of it is within our control. And the reason we forget is because we are so focused on other people. And so I know for us, it is difficult not to focus on your mother because that is your mother and you want her of all people to love you and to be there for you. But sometimes we can tune in too much to other people. And what I mean by that is like thinking about like what do we mean to them and where do we fit in their lives and if they're going to accept us and those kinds of things. And so when we focus too hard on them, we can lose ourselves in the process. And that makes healing hard. It makes healing hard because we are then looking to them to pour into us and to validate us and to make us feel a certain way. And then we're going to be okay. And that's not how it works. And so I want to encourage you today that you have the answers inside you. And I just want to talk about what it might look like if you chose yourself. Now, I just said, sometimes when we're struggling with this whole thing, going through life, we do look to other people. And it causes us, while we're focused on them, to miss what's going on with ourselves, and we sometimes miss opportunities. And I don't want you to miss any opportunities. And so when I talk about putting energy into yourself, what I mean is, like learning to love yourself. Because when you look to someone else to pour into you, sometimes we turn up empty because they don't always have what we need or they don't know how to give us what it is that we need or want. And so I want you to begin to take more time with yourself and listen to yourself about what it takes to love yourself. Listen to yourself about what you really want. And so instead of worrying about what people think, so I want you to picture yourself like, what if there was no manipulation and no mama drama, pain, hurt, and generational cycles always running through your head about what you need to solve? What if you just got real selfish for a minute? Because, and it's not really selfish, but that's how people like to term it. But what if you got real selfish and detailed and thought about just you? And that could look like, not getting opinions from other people because you didn't really ask them what they thought. This is on you, what you want to do. If you thought about just being yourself, being authentic, not people pleasing, not, playing small, not worrying about who's going to reject you, but allowing yourself to be your beautiful self, the way you are. And it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, but I want you just to imagine what that freedom would feel like, what it would feel like. And then I want you to allow yourself to know that you deserve it. You deserve better than what you're getting. In these relationships where you are trying to make people love you, putting a lot of attention and time in that, and trying to get certain responses out of them. We are talking about choosing ourselves today. And what if we do the stuff that we want? What does that feel like? And so, if you're going to do those things, and if you actually decide to do it, you know what's going to happen? Change. You are actually going to change your own life. That's what's going to happen if you choose yourself. If you stop worrying about what your mother thinks and what she has to say and how she's treated you and how she feels and what the family have to say and the siblings and all the things. And if you really get selfish and say, okay, what do I want? And what should I have and what do I deserve? And think about if you're tired of the way things have been. And so decide what is that going to look like. So the way to do that, if you want to choose yourself today and you're over it, over the mama drama, over, all of the stuff, and you want to feel better, the first thing you need to do is to take assessment of like where you are. And I did a live about this. I think it was the last one I did in 2023. So it's probably like late December 2023. But I did a live about how to take an assessment. But it's kind of what it sounds like. You just look at the different areas of your life and just, take time with yourself. And this is not a scrutiny where you're going to be criticizing yourself for things you haven't done, things you didn't do yet. This is like a fresh start. And so you look at where you are, take that assessment, and decide some things. And so when I say decide some things, I mean some real stuff. Like, what do you want to do? And where do you want to live? Is it time to move? Like, maybe you're too close, to all the things that are going on and that are upsetting you. Or maybe some relationships need to change or need to end, or you need that distance. Or maybe you just don't, want to live in whatever climate it is anymore, and you want to try something different. Allow yourself that. You deserve it. Who's to determine where you're going to live but you? So stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. So decide, where you want to live, where you want to work, how you want to, be, whether you want to be religious, spiritual or not. Do you want to be married? Do you want to have children? All those things. And if you have children already, how do you want to raise them? How do you want them? How do you want to communicate with them? Because the way we were communicated with and the way we were talked to might not be what you want to continue going forward. Okay? And so it is your time to decide what it would be like and what it would look like if you chose yourself. And so those are some of the things that it's going to take. And so another thing might be you'll decide if you need to enforce or set or enforce boundaries. So sometimes we have boundaries, but we're not enforcing them, like we're too lenient. And we say, we're not going to let our mother, constantly blow up our phone or, be controlling in this way or that way. And then we give in and we find ourselves in a vicious cycle. We don't talk to her a while, then she acts out, then we go back. And so it's time to enforce boundaries. You might want to decide if it's time for therapy. Maybe that would help you. Do you need a community of people that are like-minded? People that don't think small, people that think bigger so that you can grow too. So these are all things that are within your control. But I want you to really take assessment and decide some things for yourself and know that the decision is yours. You don't need anybody's permission to do what it is you want to do with your life. You really don't. I know that the naysayers and the people are standing by looking, pointing fingers and judging, but you got to put blinders on to all of that and focus on you. Because if you don't take care of yourself and focus on you, you won't be happy. They can do a whole bunch of things and they can say a whole bunch of things, but that's their life. Your life is going to depend on what you do. So you got to put the blinders on right now and think about yourself, because you've been putting your happiness, your dreams, your goals, just even being content, even your peace, you've been putting that in someone else's hands. And for a lot of us on this page, it's our mama doing the stuff to us. And so it is time out for that. That's done. Okay? Because if you keep letting her do it and letting other people run you, your time is going to dwindle away. All right? So the next thing you need to do is to allow yourself to get into a state of flow and to get into that peaceful phase, or whatever that looks like. That could be, like I said, putting some distance between you, because emotionally you don't want to be pulled back and forth. And so the distance that you put there between you and whoever, whether it's your mama, whether it's the family, whether it's the job, whatever it is, the distance can serve you very well. And so you need to get yourself where you can think clearly, where you can put the blinders on and focus. And so whatever that takes, if that's less conversation, there's a such thing as low contact. Everybody talks about no contact, but low contact can be helpful as well, where you limit the amount of exposure to anything that you find that is toxic, or anything that you believe is not good for you. Limit, and then if you find limiting it doesn't work, then you can go to no contact at all, or cutting it out. But low contact is a great place to start, but you just need to allow yourself to get the headspace that you need, so that you can focus and think about you and what you really want, what you really deserve, what do you desire, how do you want your life to look. Okay? All right. And then the last thing is to be intentional. Be intentional about the changes, because if you're not intentional and you're just kind of going with the wind, then you're not going to get the results that you want. So you have to be intentional. So whether that means you move to a place and you need a certain job and you need to go back to school, or you need to, take classes, be intentional towards your goals. That is how you make them happen. Now, ultimately, God is in control. We can't, tell the world how to operate and all of that. I wish that we could sometimes, but we don't have that power. But the power you do have is to choose yourself and the things that you want and get after them. And stop allowing other people to come in and push you around and to make you feel guilty when you don't do what they want you to do. Because I know that's a mama trick. They know what buttons to push. They know, how to get to us. And so they can make you feel, your mom can make you feel guiltier than anybody else and worse than anybody else. When her job should be to build you up and to love you and to hold you close and to support you and to console you or whatever it is that you need, and to be a friend to you when you're older, she can be the worst enemy when those things aren't in place. And I know what that feels like. And so you have to choose yourself so that you can make your own decisions and you can be intentional about those goals that you want, those dreams that you have. So that's what choosing yourself is all about. And that's what it looks like. It looks like things changing for the better. Okay? And so you just got to get on it and be all about your business. That's what I have for you today. Choosing yourself ultimately takes the power from the people that you gave it to, whether that's your mama, whether that's your spouse, whether that's the children running you, whether that's the friends, the job. But choosing yourself shifts the power from them and back to you. And once you have the power, then you realize you always had the power. As an adult, you have always had the power. We didn't have it as children. And so that's how some of the things, the foundation got laid, and how, some of our fears, fear of rejection, imposter syndrome, low self-esteem and low self-confidence, that's how a lot of those things got in place because we were children. And so unfortunately now we have to heal ourselves. But you can absolutely do it. And I'm just here to encourage you to dream and dream big, and don't stop, and don't let anybody stop you. Okay? It is in your hands. It's within your control. But you need to be intentional, get some clear space, decide what you want, and take the action to get it. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you today. It's the last weekend in February, so wow, we're gonna be going into March soon. So I hope that things are going well with you. Hope that the new year has gone well so far, and as we move into spring and that whole renewal time, I hope that you put some good things up there that you want to do, good things on the list that you want to accomplish, and let's go after it. Let's get it done. Okay? So if you need me, you can DM me. You can put comments below this video. You can ask questions, whatever you would like to do. But one-to-one coaching is still open. And if you want to have a consultation with me, they are free. You just go to the link in my bio and you can set up some time there. All right. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And I hope that you have a great weekend. Bye.